The Samurai class is one of the most popular classes to start with in Elden Ring. In this guide, I'm going to show you how to start with the Samurai and end with the Knight Samurai. Hello everybody, it's Ocelot, and welcome to my first full game guide for the DLC. In this guide, I'm going to show you how to start with the Samurai and how to naturally progress to picking up one of my favorite new DLC weapons, the Sword of Night. So let's go ahead and start with character creation. Let's go ahead and start with a samurai. You can choose any gender that you'd like. I recommend that you use the golden seed as the keepsake. Now before you start this guide, I recommend that you head on over to my ultimate setup guide and watch part 1. This is going to show you all early upgrade materials and how to acquire 151,000 rooms. This is going to get you set up for this guide and any future guides that I set up. So once you finish off with the base game setup, let's go ahead and head over to the Church of Pilgrimage. You're going to want to head directly east. We're going to be picking up the Faith Not Crystal tier. This is going to give us plus 10 faith for 3 minutes when we put it in the physic. We're going to use this at the beginning to reach the level required for our faith-based buffs. Next, southeast of the Celia Crystal Tunnel, right next to the Celia Understair Site of Grace, you're going to find Double Slash. This is going to be the first weapon skill that we're going to equip to the Uchigatana. Again, here it is on the map. It's going to be a teleporting Scarab. Luckily, the samurai starts with the bow and arrow, so you can go ahead and shoot it. And there you go with Double Slash. Next, in Liurnia of the Lakes, southwest of the Boil Prawn Shack, you're going to want the Dexterity Not Crystal tier for plus 10 Dexterity for 3 minutes. And then, southwest of South Raya Gate, we're going to be picking up Bloodflame Blade. This is going to give us an additional 40 flat bleed on our weapon. Also, it's going to give negligible fire damage, but we're mainly interested in the bleed buff. In Volcano Manor, we're interested in 2 items, so start at the Prison Town Church Site of Grace, and near this mark, we're going to be picking up our first seal and our main seal for the rest of the game. It's going to be the Erdtree seal. It does have a 40 faith requirement, but we aren't going to be casting incantations. We're mainly going to be using it for buffs. Go ahead and warp back to the Prison Town Church Site of Grace if you don't have the Guest Hall Site of Grace. We're going to be going on this mark. If we go up the ladder and down this path, we're going to be picking up the Albinauric Mask for plus 4 Arcane. This is going to help us cast Bloodflame Blade. Now back in Limgrave, at the Summon Water Village, if you don't have the Summon Water Village Site of Grace, you can go from the Third Church of America and go directly up to Spirit Springs. You're going to need a Stone Sword key, which you should have picked up during the setup. We're going to be picking up the Green Turtle Talisman for stamina regen. It's going to be one of the talismans we'll be using at the beginning until we get better talismans. Back to Caelid, we're going to be going to the Fort Gale North Side of Grace and head directly south. Right behind Fort Gale is going to be Flame Grant Me Strength. It's going to give us plus 20% physical and fire damage. In the Mistwood Forest near the Minor Erdtree, we're going to be picking up the Greenspill Crystal tier. This is going to give us plus 15% max stamina for 3 minutes. Next, we're going to head to Dragon Barrow. Here, we're at the Lenny's Rise Site of Grace, where you should have cheesed the Knight's Cavalry if you were following the setup guide. You're going to want to use the Spirit Spring to jump up into Lenny's Rise. And we're going to be picking up a Memory Stone here. Next, we're going to spend our runes on upgrading our weapon and for leveling up. If you have Smithing Master EG unlocked, I recommend upgrading here as it's faster. Upgrade your weapon to plus 17 before you level up. And with the rest of the runes, you're going to want to spend 13 points into Vigor, 6 into Endurance, 5 into Dexterity, and 7 into Faith. Next, go to Memorize Spell and memorize Bloodflame Blade and Flame Grant Me Strength. These are going to be our 2 main weapon buffs before we pick up our new weapon. And in the Physic, you're going to want to put in the Greenspill Crystal tier and the Dexterity Not Crystal tier. Back at the round table from the Twin Maiden Husk, you're going to want to purchase a dagger. This is going to be for applying Golden Vow. So go ahead and rest at the Grace or at the Table of Lost Grace. And on a dagger, equip Golden Vow. Affinity does not matter. And on the Uchigatana, you're going to want to equip Double Slash Keen Affinity. For armor, make sure that you equip the Albinauric Mask. This will allow us to cast Blood Flame Blade. Next, we're going into Liurnia to Stillwater Cave. Here it is on the map. We're going to be picking up the Winged Sword Insignia. This boosts our damage by up to 10% with successive attacks, which we will be doing with Double Slash and also with the Sword of Night. So here you're going to encounter a Clean Rot Knight. Be mindful with the AoE attacks, and when you see the spear glow, that means it's going in for a stab, which will instantly proc Rot on you. Just do your best to play it safe. Try to stay out of the poison swamp. That way you don't have to worry about poison buildup. With the Clean Rot Knight down, you're going to be rewarded with the Winged Sword Insignia. So go ahead and equip it in your only talisman slot. After we fight Margit, we'll go ahead and equip the Green Turtle Talisman. So go ahead and make your way to Stormvale Castle. Here's your buffing order. You're going to want to drink your Physic first. Switch to your dagger and put on Golden Vow. Put on Blood Flame Blade on your Uchi. Drink your Blue Flask. Put on Flame Grant Me Strength. I like to two-hand my weapons, so go ahead and two-hand the weapon, or you can one-hand it if you'd like. And go ahead and send it. Now Margit does beat me up quite a bit here, but you'll see that with the plus 17 weapon and with the level that we're at, you shouldn't have any problem with him. So down goes Margit. That gives us our second talisman pouch. Go ahead and equip the Green Turtle Talisman. So you should be running the Winged Sword Insignia and the Green Turtle Talisman. Go ahead and make your way through Stormvale Castle. After you get Gostock to open the gate, what I like to do is zigzag at the beginning and make my way towards the east, northeast side and just run right up against the wall. This next part you can just completely run through. I'll go ahead and slow it down again right after these enemies. Here you want to hug the left side and then jump to the right at the top of the stairs. Just continue forward, and right outside of Godrick's arena, you're going to find two crackpots. This is going to be just west of the Site of Grace. Go ahead and make your way towards the Site of Grace and towards Godrick's arena. There's also some kukri here that I recommend that you pick up. We're going to rest here and we're going to level up with the runes that we got from Margit. You're going to want to put 1 point into Mind. And next, go ahead and go after Godrick. So once he collapses, you can spam light attacks, but I recommend that you rebuff your weapon with Blood Flame Blade. That way at the beginning of phase 2, you can run straight in while he's doing his fire attack and spam your weapon art. And down goes Godrick. So what I'm going to show you here is with the remembrances, we're going to consume them for the runes. Godrick's will give you around 20,000. So I'm going to mainly do this with most of the boss runes. Then we're going to level up. You're going to want to put 3 points into Vigor and 1 point into Mind. So once you're done leveling up, we're going to be going into Caelid, just east of the Smoldering Wall Site of Grace, into the Abandoned Cave. Here I'm going to show you how to jump into it. This is going to be completely optional. We're here to pick up the gold scarab. You're going to fight 2 clean rot knights, but with double slash and a plus 17 Uchigatana, you should be able to make quick work of them. Again, this is completely optional, as it's not going to be a permanent talisman. What we're going to do, and I'm going to show you right after this fight, is that every time you kill a boss, you're going to want to switch to this talisman right after you get the last hit. This is going to give you plus 20% runes on every kill. And if you do it in a boss fight, at the very end, before the runes are awarded, you're going to get that 20% boost. So next, let's go to the Erdtree Gazing Hill site of Grace. We're going to be going into the Lux Ruins after Gillica. Here, we're going to be interested in the chest behind Gillica. We're going after the Ritual Sword Talisman. This is going to give you plus 10% to all damage when you're at full HP. And there again, I showed you switching to the gold scarab right after the boss dies, but before the runes are awarded. And there you have it, the Ritual Sword Talisman. Now I won't switch to the gold scarab every single boss fight just in case you don't want to do that. But it is an option if you want extra runes throughout the playthrough. So make sure you have the winged sword insignia and the ritual sword equipped. We're going to be heading to the Church of the Plague. We're going to be doing the Radahn Skip, but before we do that, let's put 2 points into Vigor. If you don't want to do the Castle Redmane skip, you can go ahead and go into Castle Redmane. That's perfectly fine. But you can also jump right here, and once you see the camera above your head, double jump. If you did it correctly, if you see where the arrow is pointing, you'll get the Stake of Marika. And you're going to want to choose to revive at the Stake of Marika. This is going to put you directly in Radahn's arena without having to go through Redmane Castle. Before you go through the teleporter, and this is a clip of after I already fought Radahn, but basically what you want to do is in one of your pouches, you want to put on a gold pickle foulfoot. I put it in the down spot for easy access. So what you want to do is when you kill Radahn, you want to eat the gold pickle foulfoot, and you want to switch to the gold scarab. That'll give you an extra 30% runes after killing Radahn. So let's go back to the Radahn fight. Once you go through the teleporter, you want to go ahead and face the camera and jump on Torrent as fast as possible. So basically, you're going to want to be running away from Radahn. If you do this correctly, you'll see that he despawns. You can put on your physic here. But we're going to do the rest of the buffs after Radahn gets triggered again. So jump back on Torrent and run towards Radahn. Right around these weapons right here is where you want to dismount. You're going to put on Golden Vow, Blood Flame Blade, Flame Grammy Strength, refill the FP, and you're going to want Radahn to do his multiple slash attack. If he doesn't, you could run away from him just like I do right here. Sometimes he'll do the jump attack, but you can run away, and then this is the attack that you want, and you want to run right into it and just spam your weapon art until he slams his swords into the ground. Here, you're going to want to roll behind him, and I like to unlock, roll through this attack, and just keep on spamming your weapon skill on the horse or on his feet. Here, I reapply Blood Flame Blade, and I just stand still looking at one side of the arena. That's where he's going to come in flying from. I jump on Torrent, get one jump attack in, and just attack his horse to finish him off. Here you're going to see me scramble to put on the Gold Pickle Foulfoot and the Gold Scarab, but hopefully you're going to be a little bit more prepared than I am. So with Radahn down, let's go ahead and level up. You're going to want to put 6 points into Vigor and 3 points into Endurance. With 2 Remembrance bosses down, let's head back to the Twin Maiden Husk. She's going to give you a 3rd Talisman pouch. For now, let's go ahead and run the Ritual Sword Talisman, Winged Sword Insignia, and the Green Turtle Talisman. So let's go back to Caelid. Here on this mark, if you don't have the grace there, you can go from the Celia Crystal Tunnel or Celia Under Stairway. Basically, we're going to be going after Commander Niall, or O'Neill actually. You can go behind him and you can buff up without him aggroing. You're going to want to take him out, and we're going to be working on another talisman. But we need to take out Commander O'Neill before we can get it. So with Commander O'Neill, you want to watch out for his summons. As you see here, they almost take me out. If you don't take out Commander O'Neill before he does his summoning, especially with the enemies that have the axes, I recommend you take out some of the enemies out before you finish off O'Neill. But you'll see that you'll eventually finish off O'Neill, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem as long as you don't get rotted. And once you finish him off, again, switch to the gold scarab if you'd like. You're going to be awarded with the unalloyed gold needle, which we're going to take east to the shack that's nearby. We're going to be talking to Sage Gowry to continue Millicent's questline. So go ahead and talk to him. Here is a request to help her out. You're going to give him the needle, and he's going to ask you to come back so you can warp to another grace, or what I like to do is just quit out and reload. Once you're back in the game, or once you're back in at Gowry's shack, you're going to talk to him again. He's going to give you another needle, which you're going to want to take to Millicent. So let's go ahead and warp to the Church of the Plague site of Grace. We're going to give Millicent the needle. She's going to take it, and we're going to have to rest after we give it to her again. So go ahead and go through her dialogue, rest at the site of Grace. And you're going to see that she's magically up now. So go ahead and finish her dialogue here. You're going to want to rest at the Grace again once you finish her dialogue. Then you want to go back to Gowry's shack. You're going to want to talk to Millicent again. After exhausting her dialogue, we're going to be going here to the Shaded Castle, and then here to the Corpse Stench shack. The first marker is going to have Valkyrie's Prosthesis for Millicent. The second mark is going to have Golden Vow Incantation. From the Old Altus Tunnel, you can take a Spirit Spring and then head west. Then you can warp back and then head north to the Shaded Castle. Here at the Golden Vow Incantation, you're going to get invaded. I usually just run away from this invader. Next, we go to the Shaded Castle, and again, we're getting the Valkyrie's Prosthesis. Go ahead and warp back to the Erd Tree Gazing Hill site of Grace. And we're going to find Millicent there, and we're going to be giving her this key item. So go ahead and talk to her until you're able to give her the prosthesis. So next, we're going to be going to the Windmill Heights. Now, if you don't have any near sites of Grace, this is going to be the mark on the map that you want to get to. We're going to be picking up another talisman, Millicent's Prosthesis. You're going to find a God-skinned apostle here, which you can put to sleep. Go ahead and buff up while he's asleep. If you don't kill him while he's asleep the first time, just throw another sleep pot. Keep on spamming attacks. You're going to want to rest at the Grace. And after you rest at the Grace, you're going to see Millicent. And here's where you're going to have to say goodbye to her. So once you take her out, you're going to be gifted Millicent's Prosthesis, which is going to boost successive attacks even further and is going to stack with the Winged Sword Insignia. So go ahead and slot that in instead of the Green Turtle Talisman. This is our talisman lineup as of right now. With the rooms that we have, let's go ahead and put 1 point into Vigor. Since we have Golden Vow Incantation, let's go ahead and add that in. So you're going to want to put in Golden Vow first, Blood Flame Blade, and then Flame Grant Me Strength, because that's going to be the order we're going to cast them. In our Physic, you're going to want to put in the Faith tier and the Dexterity tier. Before we go after the Draconic Tree Sentinel, just east of him, near Alriza's Side Tomb, we're going to pick up some more Smithing Stones. There's going to be a Rune Bear that you want to bait to crack open this statue. You're you're going to find 2 smithing stone 6s. If you need to quit out after you pick them up, you can. You can usually also just run away, jump up the spirit spring. And next we're going to be going after the Draconic Tree Sentinel. So from this spot, you can go ahead and buff up. You're going to put on the Physic, put on Golden Vow, Blood Flame Blade, refill your FP, Flame grant me Strength, 2-hand the weapon, and send it. For a Draconic Tree Sentinel, the bleed procs should stagger him out of most of his attacks. You might have to dodge an attack here and there. When he goes into his lightning phase, that's when you can get a few free attacks in. Again, the bleed procs should stagger him out of his attacks. And with the Draconic Tree Sentinel down, let's go ahead and start heading into Leyndell. But first, let's level up. Let's go ahead and put 3 points into Vigor. We're going to be hitting 40 Vigor. This should be good for a few more bosses before we get into the DLC. Here, we're going to fight this Erdtree avatar. And the main reason we fight him is because he drops a large rune that grants us 50,000 runes. You can skip him if you'd like, but I highly recommend that you fight him as he isn't too difficult of a boss. There's a Site of Grace just nearby too, through that doorway to the left, if you'd like to go grab that first. Down goes the Erdtree avatar, and you're going to be awarded with the Lord's Rune. Now before you grab that Site of Grace, or if you already grabbed it, back here you're going to find some more smithing stone 6s. Down there, which you can't see because of this balcony, is going to be more smithing stone 6s. So next we're going to be picking up some more smithing stone 6s and some smithing stone 7s. We're going to get our Uchi upgraded all the way up to plus 20. There's an Omen Killer that's right next to the smithing stone, so I'd recommend taking him out. And once you do, you can easily get the smithing stone 6. Here we are again on the map. We aren't quite done here yet. In this church, we're going to be picking up the Leyndell set, and we're going to be equipping part of the armor. So we're going to put on Leyndell's gauntlets and Leyndell's greaves. This is going to give us 53 poise with the Land of Reed's armor and with the Albinarch mask. Next, just follow this path. This is an optional fight right here. You can just run right past him if you'd like. But you're going to want to pick up one crackpot here, and right out the doorway is going to be some more smithing stone 6s. 1 to be exact. Once you have these, go ahead and warp back to the Avenue Balcony Site of Grace. And then from here, you're going to want to head left and across these rooftops and into this well. We're going to be going after some smithing stone 7s in the sewers. If you need to slow the video down, go ahead and do so. But I do show you the exact route to pick up the smithing stone 7s. And we're going to be picking up Mohg's Shackle, as we're going to be fighting Mohg soon. There's going to be a couple of dangerous lobsters down here. Go ahead and sleep them with sleep pots. There's 2 of the smithing stone 7s. And then up ahead there's some more smithing stone 7s. Again, just chuck a sleep pot at the lobster. You don't have to worry about it. Here's the other set of smithing stone 7s. And here we have Mohg's Shackle. But let's go ahead and go through this broken part of the wall. We're going to want this Site of Grace. We're going to come back here to pick up the Lord of Blood's Exultation. But for now, let's go ahead and upgrade our weapon. So whether you go to EG or to Master Hugh, go ahead and upgrade your weapon to plus 20. Since we have some extra runes, let's go ahead and level up. We're going to put 1 point into mind. And then we're going to go back to the Leyndell catacombs. And we're going to be going after the Lord of Blood's Exultation. This is going to give us plus 20% damage when blood loss occurs in the vicinity. This buff lasts for 20 seconds. And it will stack with the white mask, which we will acquire later on. So once you go through the dungeon and open up the boss door, you're going to get Esger, Priest of Blood. At first, just stay right by the boss door. That way you can have him rush at you without the dogs rushing. You'll be able to take off most of his health before you have to deal with the dogs. Once you take him out, you get the Lord of Blood's Exultation. And next off, we're going to be going after Goldfrey. So go ahead and make your way to Goldfrey. With Goldfrey, he doesn't bleed, so we're not going to equip the Lord of Blood's Exultation just yet. What I recommend to do is try to bait him into doing the jump attack. If he doesn't do it, just try to strafe him as much as possible. Go in with the first part of the weapon skill. Do a few light attacks. But I recommend not trying to go in for the full Ash of War unless you have a really big opening, which you might be able to get if you stay behind Goldfrey. Again, I do get hit a lot in this fight, but luckily we put in a bunch of points into Vigor. After he goes down, you're rewarded with the 4th talisman slot. Now let's go ahead and put in the Lord of Blood's Exultation. So this is going to be our talisman loadout. Let's go ahead and level up. We're going to put 4 points into Vigor. Next, let's go ahead and pop that Lord's rune and any other runes that you have, because we're going to put 1 more point into Vigor and 2 more points into Dexterity. So once you're through leveling up, we're going to be going into Liurny of the Lakes to the Rose Church. If you have the Fallen Ruins of the Lakeside of Grace, you can go directly west. You're going to want to talk to White Mask Varre and get the Festering Bloody Finger. Here in Altus Plateau, just east of the Bridge of Iniquity, we're going to find some ruins, and we're going to invade this NPC. It's not necessary to win this fight to continue Varre's questline to get into Mohg Palace. You just have to invade this NPC 3 times, so don't worry if you get stuck on him. Again, it's optional just to win this fight. So once you beat this NPC or do 3 invasions, you're going to want to talk to White Mask Varre again. He's going to give you the Lord of Blood's favor. We're going to go to the Grand Lift of Dectus, head south. We're going to take this general path to the Church of Inhibition. Here, we're going to get a Sacred Tear, and we're going to bloody the Lord of Blood's favor. Once you do this, go ahead and warp back to White Mask Varre. He's going to give you the Pure Blood Knight's Medal. This is going to give us early access to Mohg Palace. So go ahead and use it. Once you use it, you're going to be teleported to the underground. There's going to be a map fragment there on that dead body. Go ahead and grab this Side of Grace. But before continuing up, follow this path that I take, because we're going to be picking up some more large golden runes, more upgrade material, and more importantly, we're going to be picking up the White Mask. The White Mask is going to be awarded if we defeat an invader. But I'm going to show you an easy method for the invader to die without having to attack the invader at all. So let's go through all these side caves. We're picking up all the items. There's going to be some somber stones that are going to help us out for when we pick up our new weapon, the Sword of Night. So just continue to head backwards away from Mohg Palace. On this mark here, you're going to want this Side of Grace. It's a Palace Approach Ledge Road. Now here we're going to want to take out our bow. This is a really good farming spot if you'd like to farm for levels. We're not going to farm, but this is generally how you would do the farm. You're going to want to shoot this bird through the tree. course you're not going to want to miss it. If you hit it once, it's going to aggro towards you and kill itself off of the ledge. If you have the gold Scarab equipped, it'll give you 13,000 runes. And if you put on a gold pickle foulfoot, it goes up to 17,000. Again, I don't encourage farming, but if you need the levels, go ahead and farm the levels. Here we're picking up a golden seed. After we pick up all these items, once you get to this point, you're going to get invaded. And once we kill this invader, we're going to be awarded with the white mask, which is going to give us plus 10% damage with blood loss in the vicinity. This lasts 20 seconds and stacks with the Lord of Blood's Exultation. So if you stand here and then hold block, the invader will jump down and he will slip off of the ledge. And there you go. You're awarded with the white mask. So let's go ahead and warp back to the first site of grace that we picked up, the Dynasty Mausoleum entrance. You're going to want to head through the mausoleum. In here, you're going to want to pick up this large golden rune, the Lord's rune. And you're going to want to pick up these smithing stone 8s. Continue on up, avoiding the enemies, or you could fight them if you'd like. There's going to be a site of grace coming up that you can rest at. Here we are again on the map, Dynasty Mausoleum midpoint. So go ahead and pop the golden runes that we just picked up. We're going to be leveling up yet again. And we're going to be using all of these runes to put levels into vigor. So if you've been following this guide, you should be at 49 vigor at this point. Just pop as many golden runes as you need, or again, if you need to farm the bird because you've lost runes, go ahead and farm the bird. You have that farm available, which is one of the best farms in the game. So now we're going to go after Mohg. Again, here's going to be our buffing order. We're going to use the Flask of Wondrous Physic. We're going to put on Golden Vow. We're going to put on Blood Flame Blade. Refill our FP. Put on Flame Grammy Strength. Take off the Albinaric mask and put on the white mask. And send it. One last thing I forgot to mention is you're going to want to equip Mohg's Shackle. So here I am putting it in my quick slot down. This is going to trivialize this fight and is going to give you easy access to the DLC. But just to show you that you don't need it, I'm going to fight Mohg without the shackle. Now yes, you are going to have to dodge some of his attacks, and if you don't attack him in the proper order, you're going to have to go through phase 2, which, spoiler alert, I don't one phase him, so I will have to fight his second phase. But luckily, Mohg is weak to bleed, and we do have a bleed build. Unfortunately, if you don't beat him before Nihil, you're just going to have to heal through it. Again, if we had used the shackle here though, he more than likely would have been a one phase. So here he has about 20% life left. And he does hit me a few times, but we are still able to do some major damage on him. So for Mohg, 100% make sure that you switch to the gold Scarab and that you use a gold pickle foulfoot if you have it. I don't have a gold pickle foulfoot, but I do have the gold Scarab, so I go ahead and switch to that for 20% extra runes. Down goes Mohg, and now we have access to the DLC and we can go get our weapon. So with the levels that we get from Mohg, let's go ahead and put 1 point into Vigor, 1 point into Mind, 2 into Endurance, and plus 9 Dexterity. At this point, I recommend you pause this video and go back to our setup guide for part 2 for our early DLC setup. This will give you plus 13 scadutree blessing. The route that I have in this guide will show you how to get to plus 13 blessing without having to fight any major or minor bosses. There are going to be a couple of enemies that you will have to fight, but they are easily trivialized with this build. Here you see, after completing that guide, we have 29 scadutree fragments. Once we use all of the fragments, you're at plus 13 blessing, and you're at plus 3 revered spirit ash. That's going to give Torrent a little bit of tank ability. But to fight the boss that we need to, we're going to get even higher scadutree blessing. So go to the Viaduct Minor Tower side of Grace. We're going to head directly south towards this mark. We're going to be fighting an overworld hippo. This is almost similar to the golden hippo that we will fight eventually later on. However, this one does not have the phase change with the porcupines like the other one does. So once you take it out, you're going to be rewarded with 1 scadutree fragment. So next up, we're going to go fight 2 more hippos, and they're going to be just southeast of the Recluse River downstream side of Grace. If you don't have it, it's from the Storehouse first floor side of Grace, which again, if you were following the guide, you should have. You're going to take this general path. You're going to make it down to the Recluse River downstream side of Grace and go to this body of water. Once you make it to this body of water, here we are on the map again. You're going to find 2 hippos here, and they're each going to drop 1 scadutree fragment. So with these 2 fragments and the previous one that we got from the hippo before, we're going to be able to get up to scadutree blessing 14. This is going to help us immensely, as we're going to have to fight a DLC remembrance boss to get our weapon. But at plus 14 scadutree blessing, this is very close to the soft cap of 15. After level 15 scadutree blessing, you get diminishing returns. I'm not saying it's not worth it to go past 15, but at 14 we should be definitely fine for fighting the boss that we have to. And also, once we take these hippos out, we're going to be doing a lot of running, but I will show you on the map where you need to go and what are going to be the nearby sites of Graces. So with all 3 hippos down, we are now ready to level up to plus 14 scadutree blessing, but we're also ready to start the quest line to get our weapon. So from the Mortharuin side of Grace, you're going to take this general path, which you should already have open. This is going to be our destination, Cathedral of Manus Metter. Here, we're going to talk to Ymir. Make sure that every time you talk to him, you exhaust any new dialogue. He's going to give you a whole laden necklace and a ruins map. So the first spot we're going to want to go to is right here. And to get to this point on the map, if you don't have this side of Grace, the Finger Ruins of Rhea, the way to get there is from the Cerulean Coast Cross side of Grace, which previously we had the Cerulean Coast Grace. And take that general path. Once you take that general path, you're here at the Finger Ruins of Rhea. You're going to want to blow this trumpet. You're going to be awarded with the talisman. But most importantly, it's going to progress the quest line. Go back to Ymir. He's going to give you another map and a talisman. Again, exhaust his dialogue as much as possible every single time you come back to him. So for the second map, this is where we're going to want to go to. Exactly to this spot. To get here, it's going to be through Shadowkeep. But first, let's double back to this mark just north of Bonnie Village, as we're going to need to pick up an emote to be able to get to that part of the map. So from this side of Grace, you want to head directly north. On this dead tree, there's going to be an Oh Mother emote. Go ahead and pick that up and equip it. Then from the Shadowkeep back gate side of Grace, you're going to want to follow this general path. Here at this statue is where you're going to want to use the emote. This is going to make the statue move out of the way and is going to give you access to the hinterland and to the path that I just showed you previously. And again, here on the map, I'm going to show you the general path we're going to take. But pretty much once you open up that statue, it's a straight shot here. Go ahead and blow the trumpet again. You're going to be awarded with another talisman. We're going to head back to Emhyr and again completely exhaust his dialogue. Now from here, you're going to want to warp to or rest at the site of grace. Emhyr's going to disappear. You're going to want to interact with the chair. The chair is going to move to reveal a ladder, but we aren't ready to go down this ladder just yet. We're going to upgrade our weapon to max. Now that we're in the DLC, we have access to more upgrade materials. So from the High Road Cross side of Grace, take this general path to the Shadow Altus west side of Grace. We're going to end up here on this mark. We're going to be picking up some smithing stone 7s. So here I'm going to show you the path down. As long as you don't miss one of these ledges, you will not die to fall damage. Once you make it here, you're going to automatically dismount Torrent. There's going to be some enemies, which for time's sake I dispatched. But there's going to be quite a few enemies, and then there's going to be a Black Knight guarding the chest that we need to get to. Now I don't fight this enemy, I just run past him, open the chest, grab the smithing stone 7s, and hightail it out of there. So next stop is going to be back to the High Road Cross side of Grace. We're going to the body of water just northwest of it. Here you're going to find a troll. This troll is going to drop the smithing stone 8s that we need. So with the troll down, we have all the smithing stone 7s and 8s to get our weapon up to plus 24. But we're going to get it to max. So let's head over to this tower on this mark. You're going to want to warp to the castle front side of Grace. Take this general path. We're going to get to that tower. And at the very top of the tower is going to be a chest with an ancient dragon smithing stone. And now we'll be able to upgrade our weapon to plus 25. Max level. So go ahead and warp to EG or Hugh. Get your weapon to max level. Let's warp back to the Cathedral of Manus Metter. And let's go down that ladder. Now at the very bottom of the ladder, once you continue forward, you're going to get invaded. But with the maxed out weapon and this build, you shouldn't have any problems with this NPC. Just go ahead and spam double slash. And if you need to, you can run away and heal. Refill your FP. Invader goes down. You're going to find another horn. And you're going to go ahead and interact with that. And that is going to take you to your first DLC Remembrance boss fight. For this boss, I highly recommend that you equip a Golden Horn Tender. This is going to give you an outrageous amount of runes. And switch to the Gold Scarab from the Lord of Blood's Exultation to get even more runes after that. Same buffing order. We're going to do the Flask of Wondrous Physic, Golden Vow Incantation, Blood Flame Blade, Flame Grant Me Strength, refill your FP, switch to the White Mask if you have time, otherwise just send it. So with Metter, she has a few openings. This is one of the rare openings. If she does it, just run past the glowing ground and start using your weapon skill. Her chest piece, as you can see, it's full of fingers, I believe. That's going to be her weak spot. This triples head slam is her usual opening, which is fine because it gives us access to her chest piece if we can dodge successfully all 3 head attacks. When she does the arm swipes, just roll twice. Here we almost died, but luckily we were able to survive the arm slaps. Make sure once she starts going into phase 2, you're at full health. And don't quite roll right away if you get knocked down. But just stay near her chest, continue to attack it, get the bleed procs, roll when needed, roll this attack especially, and just stay as close to her as possible so she doesn't do any of her many AoE attacks. Here she does do one of them, but we're able to take her down right before we get wrecked. Again, use the golden horn tender and switch to the gold scarab to get a stupendous amount of runes. Let's go and spend those runes. We're going to put 10 points into vigor, 3 points into dexterity. And again, if you've been following my previous guide as well for upgrade material, you should have America's rune. So go ahead and pop that. And we're going to be using the money to put 2 more points into dexterity. Now we're not quite ready to get our weapon just yet. We need to interact with the mirror's chair, and we're gonna get invaded. This time it's going to be 2 invaders. The first invader is just going to be like the previous invader. Just use the weapon skill, go for the bleed procs, heal if you need to. Once you take down the first invader, you're going to be invaded by none other than Ymir. Now he has a dialogue where he gets iframes, so just wait for him to finish talking, then you can attack him. But again, he'll go down. You'll get his bell bearing and his armor. Here is where you're going to find your weapon. But first, let's go ahead and rest at the site of grace. You're going to need to talk to that NPC to get the weapon, but we need one more item, and that's going to be here at the Fort of Reprimand. So go ahead and warp to behind the Fort of Reprimand site of grace. You're going to want to run past this first Omen Killer. Drop down, there's going to be a hole. Go ahead and buff up because there's going to be another Omen Killer that we need to fight. He's going to drop a key item for the quest line that we're doing. Once you take him out, go ahead and pick up the item that he drops, the Iris of Occultation. We're going to give that to the NPC that we've seen previously. And here, you're going to find another America's rune for another free 80,000 runes. So go back to the Cathedral of Manus Metter. You're going to talk to this NPC. And when you have a choice, you're going to want to make sure to choose Use Iris of Occultation. Once you use this and exhaust the dialogue, you're going to be rewarded with our featured weapon, the Sword of Night. Let's go ahead and max this weapon out. Here in Dragon Barrow, we can pick up a Somber 8, which is the only Somber stone that we're missing. It's going to be in this exploding scarab. Next, we're going to go back to Mohg Palace to the Dynasty Mausoleum midpoint. Right before the Mohg fight, there's going to be a chest guarded by a Sanguine Noble and a bunch of Albinarics. If you throw a Kukri at the stairs right there, you can get them to go away. Just in case the Sanguine Noble turns back, I hit the ledge, and that'll get him to continue away from the chest. Go ahead and open the chest. And now we can upgrade our weapon to max level to plus 10. So go ahead and go to Smithing Master E.G. or Hugh. Upgrade the weapon to plus 10. With the leftover runes, go ahead and put 4 points into dexterity. And let's go ahead and take a look at the map. We still have the mountaintops, consecrated snowfields. We still have crumbling Farum Azula. We even still have Morgott. So that's going to be it for part 1. Here's a preview of part 2. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Did you like this type of content? I started this channel doing full game guides. I kind of got away from it. Well, let me know if there's any other weapons out there that you'd like to see a full game build guide for. Also, you can catch me live here and on Twitch. I stream Monday through Thursday, mostly doing some goofy challenge run or playing some new game that I'm terrible at. There's also going to be a link in the description for the Discord if you'd like to come and hang out and talk more things gaming. You can get up-to-date news about what I'm working on or what I'll be streaming. I hope you have a good rest of your day, morning, evening, or night, whatever time zone you're in. And if I don't catch you live, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.